going on, YouTube? We are doing a kind of a EDC collection, knife collection update. I don't really collect knives, I rotate them quite frequently, but this is what I got right now, essentially. And you'll see a theme here that we're going to talk about a little bit more about this video, but right now we'll just kind of go through each individual knife, why I like it, why I have it, what's the newest knife, and those kind of things. So we'll start with the newest knife. I'm going to pan out a little bit. The newest acquisition for me is this Reata Mini Horizon D. This is a bronze finish with the carbon fiber inlay, M390 blade steel. I literally picked this up yesterday from Blade HQ. My first Reata knife in a long time. I was actually going to look at the Mini Glimpse and the new 3/4 Quaken Taut Bag and a few other knives, some wee knives, and this one really reached out to me, and it just feels fantastic in the hand. It's super well built. Buttery smooth action, very even grinds, nice and sharp from the factory. Not sure how the thickness is. I'm not doing a full review on this knife quite yet, but I feel like it should be a pretty good cutter too. It's actually a little thick behind the edge, 0.320, so a little thicker behind the edge than I like, but it does have pretty thick blade stock. But overall, just the handle is so comfy. The design of it, just the looks, the aesthetics of the knife really spoke to me, and the price point wasn't terrible. About $350 for this one. This is with the carbon fiber inlays are a little bit more expensive. The milled handles are like $330, so not bad for Reata. That's my newest acquisition, not acquisition. Then the 393, which I've done a video on. I added the Hinderer clip. That's actually the main reason I went to Blade HQ yesterday, is to get that, and ended up with that. So 393 has been fantastic. I think it's, and we'll talk more about this in the video later, but these two knives right here are top of their game, in my opinion. US made, Chinese made, similar materials. Pretty big difference in price though, and we'll talk about that later. But top of their game right there, ZT and Reata for sure. So other than the 393, I think a lot of these I've had for a while, actually. The Mini Crooked River, probably, would be my latest besides this. And, Benchmade is a whole other discussion for a whole other video, because they've just been so hit and miss on their production quality. Now, the last 4 that I've had have been good. Perfect, no, but good. One of the things that you've probably seen if you watch Dr. Frunky's channel, he had a custom Crooked River he had ordered. You can go in there and order a custom different variation with different scales and different, steel and all that kind of stuff. You would think that Benchmade would produce those to a higher quality, and yet they're not. He had some problems with his. This has been perfectly fine. I haven't had any issues with the Mini Crooked River. It's been completely centered. It has good grinds. It has no blade play and no issues at all. Same with my Going Gear exclusive 940. It's been just buttery smooth. So I've had actually good luck. Last 4 Benchmades, even the Mini Freak and the Grizzly Ridge I bought, have been perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with them at all. But Benchmade, then I hear stories like that, and I'm like, ugh, they just haven't figured it out yet. And I was really hoping they had. Other than that, I've had a lot of these for a while. The Spidey Chef's one of my favorite. Spyderco's, I actually think it's their best knife, and then I would say that their second best knife is the Sage 5. That's just personal preference. I love the compression lock. I just feel like they executed the compression lock really well on this knife, and I just think the size is a little bit better than the Para 2 and Para 3 for me, but I think those kind of represent their best made knives. They're made in Taichung. Then the Kaiser T1 I've had quite a while. I've actually had a couple of these. This is my second one, part of the Vipon deal, which was crazy stupid. But I think this represents Kaiser's best knife too. That's kind of where I've kind of been going with my collection lately, is trying to kind of find, what I feel like is the best of each manufacturer. In this case, the Chris Reeve Small Sebenza and Singo with carbon fiber inlay is pretty much my ultimate Sebenza. So that one will probably never leave, especially because they're ridiculous. They're pretty much impossible to get. The Ferrum Forge knives have been awesome with Mass Drop, the Gent. I just sold my Crux only because I just carried the Gent more, because of the size, but I really enjoyed the crux too. They're super well made. Again, made by We Knives. A lot of the knives on this table are made by We Knives. The Mini Arrow by Booze Blades, also made by We. Fantastic knife, just a good little knife. These get carried a lot, these two, especially like, it's kind of like my gentleman's carry, and this is like my EDC for the office. But I still have my smoke. Another one, a lot of these knives are hard to get. Like there's some that are pretty readily available, but a few of these are limited editions and no longer being sold. The smoke being one of them. He may do another run, but Booze Blades does all his in limited runs. But I've held on to this one for quite a while. I love this front flipper design. It's super smooth. I like the slimness, the blade shape, and it's been a fantastic performer for me. The 095 that I had done by Fanatic Edge will probably be my collection forever, just because it's a Boba Fett themed knife. I love the 0095. This is an in-house CT design, and I love this shape and the design of this knife, the ergonomics. It's got a little bit slimmer handle than most CTs, which I like, and I had it, fully customized, and that one will be there on for a while. But like I said, the Reata's my newest addition. I've kept this knife in my collection, the LA Police Gear, as a budget beater knife, but I also have practiced quite a bit of sharpening on S35 because I have so many S35 knives, and I thought, I want to get good with that steel and kind of understand it and how it performs best, and and I've been sharpening this on my Wicked Edge. I've got a nice polished edge on this one right now, not overly polished, but good enough. So that's kind of the state of the collection. I have a few Swiss Armies. I have tons of fixed blades. Maybe I'll do a separate video on if you guys want to see my fixed blades. But the kind of theme here, though, is what I've noticed is there's a lot of Chinese-made knives on this table, right in here in front of you. And there's a few U.S.-made. You can see I've linked them together, these 5. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 knives out of the current knives I have are made overseas, and it's definitely the way the market's going. If you look at what Ferrum Forge is doing with Mass Drop, they just announced their Pro line. You're taking a U.S. manufacturer that makes custom knives, but they want their designs to be more affordable. They want them to be in the hands of guys that don't want to spend $500 or can't spend $500 on a knife, $600. They want to get their designs out there, which I really appreciate they're doing that. And the only way they can do it, since they're such a small shop, is to utilize a manufacturer like We. You see a lot of companies like Todd Begg Knives and Liang Ma using Reata. Why do they use those companies? And why is We and Reata like pretty much the top of the knife game right now? Because their manufacturing quality is top notch, but they bring these knives to an affordable range, especially less so with Reata, more so with We, but especially these Mass Drop knives, these Booze Blades, the upcoming Pro line for Ferrum Forge are all going to be very affordable, and that's awesome. That's something we should be excited about as knife lovers, because we're going to be able to get a lot of these designs. I have 5 minutes left on my memory card. We're going to be able to get a lot of these designs for way less money than we would normally have to spend on them. And the U.S. makers, I'm excluding ZT out of this because they continue to surprise me with what they do, and Chris Ree because it's a whole different quality level. But a lot of these U.S. makers, Spyderco, Benchmade, all the big U.S., they really need to take note, man. They need to step up their game, because it's gotten to the point where even a Kaiser, who's kind of a mid-range Chinese maker now, they're making, this is a fantastic knife for the money. And I paid under $100, but they're a little over $100 for it. So the point is that the market has gone this way, and it's a good thing for knife enthusiasts. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, U.S. made only, and you should only buy U.S. made, and I get that, and I support U.S. made companies all the time, hands right here. But when you're buying these knives, these are all U.S. designs. Maybe not the Kaiser, I think that's a German design, but maybe not this Reata, that's an in-house Reata design. But like these 3 here, all U.S. designs, all by U.S. makers or designers. You're supporting them when you buy these knives. So you're, in a way, supporting them in the U.S. and China, because you're, not in a way, you are supporting both, but you are, don't think of it as I'm only buying a Chinese knife. No, you're supporting these makers, these designers in the United States. Kaiser does tons of collaborations with lots of U.S. designers. So does ZT, so does Benchmade, so does Spyderco. But point being is, a lot of people are turned off by Chinese knives because of the country of origin, and if you are, you're totally missing out, because the U.S. manufacturing side is getting sloppy looking at you, Benchmade, Spyderco. I mean, heck, these two Spydercos right here in Taiwan, they're their best. They make their best knives in Taiwan. ZT being the exception, and Chris Reeve obviously is always going to be an exception because they've had top-notch manufacturing for years and years and years, but they're a little bit pricier knife. But look at what ZT's doing with the new knives this year, like the 03393, the 609, the recently released 460. The kids are being loud, sorry. Hopefully you can't hear them. 200, sub 250 for a knife like this. 20 CV steel. You're not even getting S35 anymore. ZT's up their game in their steel, and they're keeping the price point the same. Now, how can they do it and not Benchmade and not Spyderco? Well, ZT has a lot more buying power with Kai USA. They have a lot more manufacturing prowess with Kai USA, which is a Japanese company. So, it's kind of hard to compare Spyderco and Benchmade and ZT together because ZT is much larger. But if they don't start either outsourcing their stuff to an OEM like we, or if they don't start, I mean, they do in Chaichung obviously, but Benchmade's everything in Benchmade's US. They're gonna lose tons of market share. They're going to, there's not there as quality wise. I mean, these two are good examples of Benchmade, but are they as good a quality as these Chinese made knives? No, they're really not. They're not as good as the ZTs either. And the Chris Reeve, you know what I mean? The Spyderco Taiwanese knives are nice and they're well made, but they're not to the quality of this Reata. They're not to the quality of even a lot of Wii knives. So they really got to step up their game. And I think you're seeing this a lot in the knife industry and with collectors and enthusiasts. I mean, these knives that I have on this table are very popular knives that you're going to see in a lot of guys' collections. And they know how to appreciate and enjoy these knives regardless of where they're manufactured, because they understand and get, and they see the quality, they see the design, how it's supporting U.S. makers, but they're getting a really high quality knife for a really good price and with good materials. So anyway, guys, that's kind of the state of my current collection. Just kind of want to get that off my chest a little bit, talk about it, kind of open up a discussion, what you think about it. But that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I can see that's where it's going to continue to go in the future. I have a lot of mass drop knives on the way. I'll still keep buying ZT because I think they're at the top. There's still a few Benchmade designs that I like these two especially. But other than that, I mean, I see myself buying more and more Wii and Reata knives, and knives made by them and designed by U.S. manufacturers. I think that's a great relationship they have. So thanks for watching the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you next time.